I just know so much about myself in the past that I don't trust myself as if this stuff never happened, right? So I still proceed with caution. And you were supportive of me, and you were awesome. You've been so supportive of this whole thing, because I can only imagine what it was like for you having to go down this road again. And even knowing as hard and as dedicated as I am to recovery and to being sober and not taking anything and not putting substances in my body, like, we're still like, here we are, like, playing with fire.
This is the reality of recovery.
This is the slipperiest slope of all time.
This is the reality of our relationship. This is just what it is. This is something we're going to have to deal with for the rest of our lives.
Welcome back to another episode of Till the Wheels Fall Off. I am Matt.
I'm Paige.
We've always been really open and honest about what's going on in our personal lives, and we're not going to stop that anytime soon. We went through something that was different for us, a new one in the last 11 years since I got sober, since we've healed a lot of our wounds from active addiction, and I had to revisit my favorite drug of choice, being opiates. I had a surgery this past week, and it brought up a lot of emotions. It was difficult, to say the least. I know for me and for you, Paige.
A little bit.
So we're going to talk about what that was like, how we got through it, how we prepared, what it's been like since, everything around that. I think it can be helpful for people because while it's not a relapse per se, I think it's similar in some ways to some of the emotions that surround that. Like when this substance comes back into your life and there's all these anxieties around it, and we're going to discuss it. So before we do that, let's talk real quick about a few things. We've got merch available. Merch is on our website. We've got new sweaters that are up there, crew necks. Someone in the UK called them something else. I can't remember.
Oh, I forgot what it was called. Jumpers. I think it was jumpers.
I don't know. I like it. They always have the greatest words.
I know. I love it. I always have to look them up and I'm like, oh, that makes way more sense than what we use.
Ted Lasso the last couple days.
Oh my gosh, he's obsessed.
Anyway, merch is up. On our website, you can also find out.
We're getting more.
Yeah, there's more on the way, by the way. If you get on there and your size isn't on there, just give it a little time. We'll announce it. Follow us on IG. @tufo_couple, and we'll announce when it goes live, or in the community as well. Speaking of the community, what's up?
No, I was just saying.
Speaking of the community, you can find out about that if you don't know what that is. If you're a new listener and you're unsure, we have a free Facebook community where listeners of the show can go and connect and process things and talk about what they're going through and not feel so damn alone.
And self-care check-ins. We're doing that a lot more lately with a challenge. We're doing a giveaway in December for those that are participating in the self-care challenge.
It is not just a placed event, but in the beginning it is for many people, and we welcome that. At some point, though, you understand that your growth has so much to do with you and your own inner world, and self-care is a big part of that. On that website, you can find out about the community. You can also find out about our free newsletter. We have a newsletter that goes out every Monday morning. You can sign up by scrolling all the way to the bottom and entering your email address, and we will get you a newsletter every Monday morning.
It's so good.
And I'll post this as a blog too. So if you don't feel like giving your email address out, which by the way, we will never do anything with, I'm not going to sell it or spam you or do anything like that, but post them as a blog as well, which you can find on the website. We've also got a course. If you've been listening to us or you're unsure what this is even about, we built a program, an online program with the help of Dr. Christopher Taylor, a licensed therapist. He's the clinical architect of the program. So it's not just us. There's also, there's research-backed information that goes into this course to help you become empowered to make changes for yourself. It offers hope to those that want to rebuild the relationship, and shows you what real recovery looks like, how to gauge that, and how a healthy equal partnership can be restored. At the same time, we support those who recognize that not every relationship can or should be saved. I think people see that as blasphemous to say, but it's absolutely true. Sometimes these situations are long past their useful life and they are dangerous for many people. And it's not always a great idea to teach you how to gaslight yourself to dismiss everything so that you can stay.
Yeah, right there.
But we help people gain strength to leave if necessary, but from a place of empowerment, not fear, from a place of certainty where your values are aligned. We're an alternative to traditional programs like Al-Anon. Al-Anon's great. If that works for you, wonderful that we're an alternative. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We just recognize that healing's individual for everybody, and there are a lot of people that resonate with our way of doing it. So if you're curious what that looks like, you can go to independentlystrong.com or our website, www.tufo.com, and learn more about it. You can get 75% off using the code WHEELIES75. That's Wheelies with an S, 75. And lastly, thank you today to SoberLink for sponsoring the show. They've been an amazing partner for us. SoberLink is a device, if you're not aware, it's like a breathalyzer. It is a breathalyzer, but it's not just a breathalyzer. It's not like the kind that I used to have when I was a kid. Like we'd go to high school and we'd buy these things and blow in them to see how high we could blow. There are ways to get around some older traditional breathalyzers. SoberLink is the most high-tech breathalyzer that is offered to the general public, period. And it offers a very discreet and reliable way to monitor sobriety. So whether you're navigating a co-parenting agreement or you're trying to work on your own recovery and reestablish trust in a relationship, SoberLink can help you bring much needed peace of mind. You can set up a schedule on which you will blow into the device. And it's, like I said, it's discreet. Doesn't have a bunch of cables and everything everywhere. It's very sleek. It uses military grade facial recognition technology. So you know that when you're getting that data back, that whoever's blowing into that thing is actually blowing into that thing. And it will alert sober contacts that you get to set up. So whether that's a mediator of some kind, like if you're in a custody agreement, it could be attorneys, it could be yourself, it could be a family counselor, it could be friends, whoever you would like it to be, it will notify people and let them know when you've blown correctly. And they have an on-site 24-hour support group that stands by to make sure that everything coming into their system is correct and accurate. They have actual humans on standby all the time to make sure that this data is coming through correct. They know the difference between someone wearing cologne and someone blowing with alcohol on their breath and their bloodstream. They know the difference. And you can't tamper with this thing. Like I know that I'm just going to speak for myself here. I'm very crafty and creative when I want to get around something.
Facts.
It's an attribute that many people like me carry. They've thought of that, okay? They've thought of that. And SoberLink isn't just interested in, they don't pick sides. They're not like on the family side or on the person struggling with a substance use disorder side. They are just interested in providing the best data possible. That's all they care about. But I think we've never wanted to put spouses or partners in a situation where they felt like they were responsible for someone's recovery. Mm-hmm. And so we had discussions with them about that. And they're like, we very much understand this. I think this is best used when it's a voluntary tool. When someone says, I want to show you that I'm serious this time. It's a great way to do that, to give someone peace of mind so they don't have to second guess themselves. You have no idea what it's like being a spouse or partner and wondering, are they telling me the truth right now? Am I going crazy? I recognize signs, but they say that they're not drinking. This helps cut through all of that and give you data that is 100% accurate. They are great at this. They are trusted by over 200,000 clients, and it is called the gold standard in court because it is court admissible in all 50 states and in Canada. And if I were in a custody agreement, I wouldn't have it any other way to make sure my kids were going somewhere safe. And so if you're looking for accountability, peace of mind, visit soberlink.com/wheels to get $50 off a device. Again, that's soberlink.com/wheels. And thank you to SoberLink for sponsoring today's episode.
Thank you.
Okay. Now that that's complete.
Yay. I thought you were using that like a phone.
This?
Yeah.
No, I'm flipping over for notes.
Okay. That was weird how my mind just went to that.
She saw me trying to...
Like
There's a notepad
and it looked like he was using it as like a touchpad, like on your phone where you slide up or slide up. You know what I mean? That's what it was. That's what it looked like. My brain went weird. That was weird. Okay. Anyway, on to the episode.
So for context, we're going to get started for people. If you're new to the show, we've mentioned it a few times. I don't think we've ever had an episode about it. We've mentioned it, no doubt. Is that I've been in chronic pain for like the last decade-ish.
Longer than that.
Before that, so what got me into a rehab facility in the beginning, it was opiates, alcohol, and Adderall. Those are my three primary substances. But of the three, opiates were my favorite. Like I fell in love with these things when I was a kid, like 12 years old. I had an injury for the first time and I loved them. And I knew I'd pursue it again one day if I ever got the chance. And I got that chance in high school. I went off the rails fairly quickly. I was taking near the end, like 50 to 60 pills a day. Using a bunch of Adderall in conjunction with that, just so I could stay awake. And then I would drink it on top of it all, and then I would smoke weed at night. I was
process.
Just an absolute mess. But opiates are an interesting one because there could be a situation you run into in life where you may have to encounter that again. Like with alcohol, like there's no reason I would ever have to drink alcohol again. You know, like alcohol
for medicinal purposes,
alcohol,
you wouldn't have to. You do it for fun.
Alcohol hasn't been used medicinally since 1917. It's been a long time since we've agreed that alcohol would be a great way to treat something.
It's crazy,
right?
You know that date.
And ADHD medication, like I found other ways around that. Mm-hmm. I've developed skills and things like that. And I take some like productivity supplements that are totally legal and above board. But I've figured out a way around that. But opioids are an interesting one. So I've dealt with chronic pain, and I've never used opioids to treat it. I've always used over-the-counter drugs. In fact, I was a spokesperson for Aleve recently. They hired me on to talk about my experience with chronic pain and how to deal with that. And I've used Aleve. I've used Advil and Tylenol and various other things, stretching, ice, exercise, core work, you name it, to keep myself in order. But I have degenerative disc disease, and I've got some really bad herniated discs, and this has just been bothering me, and it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I could always deal with the pain, but recently, here in the last year or two, I started to get numbness and like crazy pain into my hips and in my legs. And if you've ever had bad back pain, you know what I'm talking about, like when your nerves start to get pinched. And that started happening. I couldn't stand for more than a minute without my feet going numb. And you can't walk, like you can't even trust your steps anymore. So tried injections, did that a million times. I was able to get through all of those without any opioids or anything like that. But then I had to get an actual real deal surgery this last week. They went in and they made a 2-inch incision in my spine, and they dug out pieces of bone fragment and disc and shaved it off and sewed me back up. And I was
glued you back up.
Yeah. And I've always been very transparent with any of my doctors about what I've been through addiction wise. I'm telling them, like, don't prescribe me pain meds because I don't take pain meds. And doctors a lot of times will do that because most people aren't like me, right? They can take these things like a normal human and stop when they're out of pain. But for me, I've never been able to do it. And so even though I'm 11 plus years sober, it's just not waters that I ever wanted to test, right? Like I just don't want to have to manage that. I just want to get through it normally. And so I was resolute on doing this. And Paige and I had conversations about it. And like, let's start with that. Like leading up to it, did you have any fears or anything about me going through this?
Well, yeah, I had some fears. It didn't consume me, obviously. Like the fears didn't consume me, but there were definitely some things that I had to be aware of going into it, because I knew that if they were to give you something in the hospital or whatnot, I had the fear that you would have that feeling that you would get when you used to abuse the medications, which you used to describe as Christmas morning, that warm, fuzzy feeling. Yeah. You know, that one where it's like, oh, this just feels so good. And so I had the fear that if they gave you something that was going to happen, and then maybe it could trickle into something else. But I was still very gray area about it. You know, I was looking at all the different scenarios where I was like, okay, I think that I'm going to trust him here, but it's still a possibility that we go down another road.
So were you prepared in any way, shape, or form prior to this? Like, if this
prepared
gets
to go
bad,
down that road?
What do I do?
It's one of those where we'll see what happens and how we can address it. Because I've said before, if you relapse, you know, I'm not sticking around. Yeah. But that doesn't mean like, oh my gosh, you just took some meds and everything is totally messed up. You know, it's based on behaviors. It's based on timing. It's based on so many other factors, and not just the fact that you took a substance.
Yeah. So I went in for surgery, and before surgery, I tell every doctor, because sometimes information gets broken apart. Listen, I have a history of addiction. I don't take opioids. I'd like to avoid them if at all costs. I'd like to avoid them. And they were understanding of that. They were compassionate for that. But I also trust medical professionals to use their expertise and tell me, like, this is something you can gut out. This is something that I'm not sure if you can. Like, this may be medically necessary that you take something. You're going to be in so much discomfort, you know? So I was open to it, leaning toward, I'll figure it out. I'll get through it. I've dealt with a lot of pain.
Yeah, but they were open with you, or what you told me with the going in before the surgery, he was like, oh, you can deal with this, no problem. Yeah. It's not going to be that big of a deal. And I'm wondering if that was just something that they said to you, or if it's something that they truly meant. Because when we were actually in there and you had the surgery, it was significant. The pain was significant. It wasn't like, you know, oh yeah, you're going to just get through this. Yeah. So I'm wondering how that helped, because I know that you have to be careful with what you say to people so that you don't get, it's almost like a trigger warning, right? Right. If you say these trigger warnings, like, oh, that means that you're going to be prepared for that. Instead, they want to calm you and say, nah, it's not that big of a deal. It'll be okay. We'll get through this. So I'm wondering how that helped with all of this as well.
I wonder that too. Looking back on it in hindsight, kind of frames it differently for me.
Right.
I don't know, but so they get me hooked up to the IV. Anesthesiologist comes in and gave me an injection of something that basically put me to sleep. I remember talking to him. He thought I was from New Jersey.
Yes. So he gave you something that was like happy juice is what he said. Or it was something like
no,
that.
he
or
said
it was like, I don't care juice.
I don't care juice. Like,
and he said it's like Valium.
Yeah, you're going to sleep.
And then that's when I said, well, can I have some of that? Because I love the Valium. I used to love the Valium. That was my like go-to back in the day.
So any of you ever had surgery before, you know that 1 second you're awake and then the next second you're awake and then you're in a lot of pain and you're in a different room and everything's just, it takes a second to get your bearings. But from the moment I woke up, I was like, oh, this hurts a lot more than I thought it would.
Yes, they called me.
They called you back there.
So they didn't call me back there at this point. They called me while you were in surgery. They called me when they got you into surgery to tell me that everything was okay. Like they kept in touch with me. So the second time that they called, or maybe it was the third time they called, she said, we're trying to get his pain under control. I will let you back here whenever he's ready. So you can imagine my thought process.
Oh my God, was that scary?
At first, yes, it was. And my parents were there to be supportive for me. So that was really nice to have somebody, to talk to. And I was like, yeah, this is kind of scary because, and I even mentioned to them, I said, because I'm afraid that if they have to give him something, it's going to re-trigger that part of his brain that's going to make him want more.
Yeah. Yeah. You always have that fear, like even 11 years out or so. Like I know, like I had a love affair with this stuff, and like it, like you mentioned, like happy Christmas morning feeling. I think even more than that, and anyone who has a substance use disorder can understand what I'm about to say is that whenever you find the substance that you end up abusing and then you take too far, the way you feel about it is like, this must be how everyone else feels all the time. Like, this is how I function optimally. Like, this is how I'm supposed to be. I wish I just felt like this all the time because life is so much easier with this thing. And that never ever leaves you. Like the memory of it leaves you certainly, and it gets faded over the course of a decade or more, but it never completely leaves you. And so you always pay respect to that's still in me somewhere. That my brain is not completely forgotten about that. And I'm not sure if it ever will. Like once you've crossed that invisible line, I don't think you get to go back. Maybe some people do. I know that I can't ever go back, but I've never met anyone that's able to go back. I don't know. I'm not sure if you can. I'm just not sure if you can. And if you could, it would just be a whole lot of managing. I'm not sure if I want to do that either. But anyway, I don't remember them ever saying anything like, how are you feeling? That's weird. I was out of it. But I remember waking up and I was writhing in pain and I was going to stick it out. I was going to stick it out. And, I guess like one of my reactions to pain is like my feet start to like touch each other and like.
Were you doing this before I went back?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was trying to gut it out.
It's like a baby. You can see a baby do their feet.
I was in a lot of pain, man. And she mentioned something about taking something, and I said no. I want to hold off. And the nurse was watching me like, is this guy freaking crazy or something? I remember I got that feeling from her that like, you don't have to be like a hero right now. Like they just cut you open. Like this is tough. And she asked if I wanted to take a pill or something. And I said no. And I started to get teary eyed at this point because I was faced with like sort of my biggest fear. It's like, here we are, here it is. You're in the situation that you hoped would never happen, but here it is. And all your preparation spiritually, with accountability, with all the mind work and meditation that you've done over the years, like this is where the rubber meets the road. We're going to see what happens. And I didn't want to have to do it, but I was in immense amount of pain. And I've always been clear about this, is that I think when it comes to opioids, this is a bit different than your average drug, is that your intention matters. Your intention about why you're taking it matters. Like I've always said, like, I'm not a martyr, right? Like I'm not going to put myself in danger medically with like blood pressure rising or any kind of other issues, make myself just miserable because I'm scared to take this thing. Like I'm not so much scared to take it as I am. Well, maybe I am. Maybe I'm scared to take it because of what could possibly happen. You just don't know because you hear the stories from other people about what's happened. Like Dax Shepard had an episode called, I think it was called Day 4, Day 7, maybe.
Day 7, I believe.
It was about his relapse back in like during COVID, and it's kind of how it happened. And so I've always said like I'll cross that bridge when I get there, but my intentions are going to be everything. And so in that moment, I had to ask myself, am I in pain or do I want to change the way I feel? Am I in pain or am I do I just want it to disappear right now? Like, is this pain necessary? Is this a 10 out of 10? Is this what you would say, like, would qualify you for needing something like that? And ultimately the answer was yes. And so they gave me an injection of, it was fentanyl, wasn't it?
Yes.
Fentanyl.
Yeah. But did they gave that to you before I went back there?
They did?
Okay, yeah. So this is.
I thought you were there the whole time.
No.
Okay, it's spotty for me.
I know. So when they called me and said that they were trying to get your pain under control, they were giving you fentanyl at that point.
Okay.
They did not tell me that. I came back there whenever they said that, okay, I guess it was like 10, 15 minutes later. They said, all right, you can come back here. I'm going to come get you. So they came and got me, and I went back there. And when I saw you, you were actually in really good spirits. And honestly, this took me back to a time too, where I was like, okay, they gave him something. I know that. And he was like, you were talkative and you were happy and you felt okay. You did in this moment. Fine. You did. But in my mind, I was like, oh my God, what did they give him? What did they give him? Because I know you, and I know when you're talkative and we're vocal, it just takes you back to the time when you used to abuse the meds, to where you were very talkative and lovey-dovey. Like you were extra in a way. So that was kind of, it wasn't a trigger. I don't want to say it's a trigger, but it did trigger something in my memory from back in the day. So she told me that she had already given you 2 doses of fentanyl.
I think the anesthesiologist did too.
Probably. But apparently the fentanyl doesn't stay in your system very long.
It's so scary hearing that word too.
Yes,
fentanyl.
It was very, 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 very scary.
But then if you know anything, like fentanyl's been used in medicine for a long time safely. It's just incredibly small doses.
That's what it's for.
Yeah.
This type of situation is what it was for. But as it was wearing off, she was monitoring your pain.
Yeah.
And I was monitoring your pain. And this is when I was like actually really, really tense. This was the scariest part of everything for me. First, I didn't like seeing you in pain. It broke my heart. That was really hard. And second, I was like, how is he going to handle this? What is he going to deal with this?
Yeah, what are we
going to do? What do they want to give him? So she kept asking your level of pain. Like, where are you? And you were, I don't know, a 4 or 5 at one point. And then she's like, okay, I've got one more I can give you. You want to try it out? And it's like, okay, sure. Because you got up to an 8 at some point.
Yeah, it wore off quick.
It did. It wore off very quickly. But then they said there was a pill that they could give you, which was Dilaudid. What is it?
I didn't take any pills.
You didn't take the pill?
It was an injection that they'd given me. And it scared the hell out of me because remember they gave it to me and I felt like I was going to have a heart attack.
That's right. We asked if it was a pill or not.
Yeah.
And then she
As
said
if that's
no.
supposed to be better.
Right. But that's what was going to take off the edge. That was going to take off the extra edge, and it lasted a lot longer. And she said, and this is where Matt was getting very emotional because he's like, I can't handle this. And you felt like you weren't strong enough to handle it, I guess.
I felt like I was letting myself down and anyone that looks up to me down. And it was emotional. I was in tears. I mean, it was like, I don't want to do this, but I don't want to be fucking miserable either.
And you were also asking me what my opinion was in a way. And I was
I needed some accountability there and
that's
support.
When I opened up to the nurse and I said, look, this is why we're hesitant to give him things, because he has a background. We're not sure how this works in this setting. She's like, this is what this stuff is for. He is in pain. It's in a setting that is helpful for him and it's controlled or whatnot. And so she made me feel very comfortable about it. And I was like, okay, and it's going to take the edge off for you too. But I mean, it wasn't really my decision. Ultimately, it was your decision, but I wanted to be a part of that conversation because you weren't fully there. And I wanted the nurse to understand where we were coming from.
Yeah.
So you ended up taking it.
Yep. And then that first night, I don't remember a lot. You're so loopy from anesthesia, but I remember feeling fine, like chipper, like in good spirits. Like I feel great, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why, it's because you're on narcotics. And came home.
Well, we went to the pharmacy first, and that was an ordeal.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yes, that's another thing. Back up a little bit. So they given me, I told them, like, I don't take narcotics home, surely. And the nurse told me, she was like, we're going to send you home with something anyway, because I think you're going to need it at some point. I just want you to have access to it. Better you have it than not and have to go back to the ER or something like that. They gave me a non-narcotic muscle relaxer. And then they gave me a drug called tramadol, which is like a really mild opioid.
It is.
Like back when I was abusing drugs, it wasn't even a controlled substance.
Right. It didn't happen until a year later.
Yeah, and like I remember taking this stuff at some point and never actually taking it because it didn't get you high.
You tried to abuse it.
I tried and it didn't work, so I never did.
I remember you taking that.
I remember I had like a bottle of it and I took like 2 or 3 of them and nothing happened. And I was like, this shit's weak. And I just never took it.
Yeah.
So they sent me home with that. And so night 1 was rough.
Well, we got to the pharmacy and they couldn't fill your prescription.
Oh, there was something weird about like the dosage or something?
Right. But then they ended up filling it and they were like, so can you tell me why he needs this? Like, what's the purpose? I said, he just had back surgery. And she was like, oh, okay. So they ended up filling it.
I like that they ask these questions now because they used to not.
Yes.
That used to never be a discussion.
No. But it was nice that she was like, it was already like almost 6 o'clock at night. They were about to close. I know the doctor wasn't in. We couldn't call the doctor. So she was like, as a pharmacist, she discussed it with me. Here's the dosing. Here's what you need to do, blah, blah, blah. But I thought it was great because if she wouldn't have filled it, we would have had to come back the next day at like 9 a.m. And I was like, I don't know how this night's going to go because I knew how much you struggled in the hospital. Yeah.
And night 1 was rough. I slept off and on, but never moved. And I'm like a roll around, like full contact sports sleeper. And I was on my back like Dracula the entire night. Mm-hmm. Getting up is like miserable. I don't remember if I took a dose that night or not. I don't think I did. I don't think I took anything other than what I had had in the hospital earlier in that day.
You took a muscle relaxer.
Did I? Mm-hmm. Okay. Day 2, I took, I think 3 doses of the medication. Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I have no idea. But you were taking the meds like as prescribed. Actually, not even as prescribed.
No, I was waiting until I was in like a whole lot of pain before I would even consider it. It's like, I'm going to be very honest about, once again, my intentions here. I'm going to monitor my pain levels. I'm going to ask myself some serious questions and be really honest with myself. Am I trying to change the way I feel? And if so, is that because I'm in pain, or is that because I'm bored? Or is that because I want a dopamine rush? Or is that because I want another taste of what I had in the hospital? And like, you have to be brutally honest and be able to like really ask yourself these questions and critique yourself and question yourself. And so I made up my mind that I would wait until like, this is bad. Like, this is really bad before I would do anything. And so all in all, we're a week out of surgery now today, as of today, right? 1 week.
Yes.
And I haven't taken meds in 3 days. 3 days?
2 or 3 days. I think you've taken muscle relaxers in 2 days, but the tramadol you stopped 3 days ago.
And the muscle relaxer doesn't make you feel like anything. It's supposed to just prevent spasm.
It's very, very, very mild.
Yeah, it's like if you took it, you wouldn't notice anything. Maybe a little drowsy or something, but it's not like, it doesn't give you a buzz. It's not a narcotic. So the narcotic though, I was like hesitant to take at all. I was like, I really just don't want it. I don't want to mess with it. So like if I was going to do it, it would be like in case of emergency, break glass kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And that happened a few times. But
we were very open with each other though.
The entire time there was an open conversation around it. It was like, I was very honest about what was going on and how I was feeling. You did a really good job of balancing like compassion for someone who's obviously been through some shit, been cut up, but also like you are in recovery and you can do what you want ultimately, but I'm not going to sit here and like help you do it. You know, like if I were to be sitting there, this didn't happen, but if I were to like ask for meds before it was time, I know that there's no way I would have gotten meds. And you did dispense the pill for me.
I did. I was going to bring that up next, is that I did dispense it in the beginning because you needed to have a responsible adult, somebody who is taking care of you, somebody who is supposed to dispense this stuff. But eventually it got to the point, like I wasn't carrying the pills around with me.
No.
I would leave the house and I would leave the pills here.
Right.
Like I'm not, and he knew exactly where they were. So there was the gray area there where it's like, I'm going to trust you. It's not, if you choose to abuse them, that's on you, not on me, just because I'm not responsible I'm not supposed to be responsible for taking these pills and hiding them from you. Like, fuck that. I'm not managing that. That's too much for a person. But I did dispense them because that was something that we agreed to do as a caregiver, and that's somebody who needed help.
And part of it was function because I literally couldn't get up to get them. I didn't, and it's like, I just know so much about myself in the past that I don't trust myself as if this stuff never happened, right? So I still proceed with caution. And you were supportive of me, and you were awesome. You've been so supportive of this whole thing, because I can only imagine what it was like for you having to go down this road again. And even knowing as hard and as dedicated as I am to recovery and to being sober and not taking anything and not putting substances in my body, like, we're still like, here we are, like, playing with fire.
This is the reality of recovery.
This is the slipperyest slope of all time.
This is the reality of our relationship. This is just what it is. This is something we're going to have to deal with for the rest of our lives. And I've been very open and upfront about that. But how we handle it, how we deal with it, how we communicate about it is what makes it different. I'm not going to make it as like poor us, we have to deal with this. It's more of like, okay, how can we handle this? How do we make this a challenge instead of an obstacle, which is what we preach on this show all day long. Did
you feel at any point like you needed to like second guess me?
No.
No,
because we had been very open. Okay, there was one point when I was asleep in the middle of the night.
Oh, this is hilarious.
And I'm a very light sleeper, y'all. I'm a mom.
This is like
moms.
This is like night 4 or something, right?
Yes, this was something like that. I don't know. All of my days are like totally meshing together. But I woke up because I heard something next to me, and that's where the pills were. The pills were next to me. So I popped up and I was like, what are you doing? And subconsciously, I thought that he was over there getting pills, not in a weird way. I wasn't like, I would have been okay with it. I don't think I would have not trusted you.
I would not be okay with you being okay with that, because the entire time we discussed.
Right. Like, if you need something, let me know, or wake me up if you want some. But even if you did it, it wouldn't have been a huge red flag for me. It's just one of those things that I did whenever it just popped up in my mind, because we've been together for so long. That shit really affected me back in the day. I'm very hyper vigilant. I really hyper focus on things. So you weren't getting the pills. You were actually getting what?
So next to the pills, so we've got like a bay window in our bedroom. So imagine like a wall. There's a bed. Paige sleeps on the left side. I sleep on the right side. There's a nightstand, and that's where the pills were at. And the bay window is to the left of that. There's like some space in the room, and then our bay windows. And on the bay window seal was a giant sack of Halloween candy.
Yeah, I took it out of our son's room because he was sneaking it.
So I this is like day 4.
So now
or something
Matt's
like
sneaking
that.
it.
So,
now I know
like,
where MJ gets it from.
Right. So like I'm able to move around a little more now, and I've been sleeping throughout the day, because like when you're hurt, like you just sleep more. It's weird. Like your body knows like you need to rest, because that's when your body heals, is when you're asleep. It's when it heals the best. So I'd slept. So my sleep schedule's all messed up. So I woke up late, like in the afternoon. So I was up at like midnight or something. You were long since asleep. And so next, I didn't even think about the pills. I wanted some Milk Duds. And so I walked over to the window, and I found Milk Duds, and I found a Twizzler. So I opened the Twizzler and I ate it right there in the spot. And then I opened the Milk Duds, and Milk Duds come in like the little Halloween candy ones. It's like a little tiny yellow cardboard box.
Mm-hmm.
And I popped it open, and I started pouring them out in my hand like this.
I don't think that's what I woke up to. Is
that
what I woke up to?
Totally. Because, and like, if you know anything about Milk Duds, if you ever had any, there's always one that gets stuck in the bottom because it's leaked a little bit of caramel out of it. And so I'm like sitting here like, but it's making almost like the noise that a bottle of pills would if you were asleep and didn't know better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sitting there doing that. And then you wake up, and it's like you looked at me like kind of shocked because you were scared that you just woken up. I'm like, what are you doing? And I was like, and I almost felt embarrassed that like I'm over here eating candy, And then it occurred to me like how bad this looks all of a sudden. I'm like, oh fuck, she probably thinks I'm over here like trying to sneak pills. Like, no, it's Milk Duds. I swear to God, it was this funny moment.
I wasn't thinking that hard about it. It really did just like, it was just a thing that popped in my head.
Yeah. And I think it's important to also say here is that you were definitely concerned at the moment. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get upset. I didn't get mad at you. Like, I've always said that if there's any distrust in this relationship, it's because I earned it, right? It didn't come out of nowhere. You didn't just decide to paint me as some like dishonest person one day for no reason. Like, I earned this fully. And so I let you feel however you needed to feel about that. Never like tried to convince you otherwise.
You weren't like, why can't you trust me or anything like that. No, it was something that we actually giggled about. We giggled about a lot of this stuff.
I was embarrassed that I'd gotten caught eating candy because like I've been eating like crap lately anyway. And I'm like trying to keep in shape to some degree while I can't exercise for the next 6 weeks. But here I am with Milk Duds in my hand, and I'm like, oh yeah, this doesn't look good, does it? I'm over here like sneaking something, but look, it's candy. It's not the pills. But anyway, so I think I took these things for like 4 days total. Then that includes the time in the hospital, right? So like 3 days at home. And they'd given me a prescription for like 10 days or something. I think it's 10 days.
They give you a lot.
A lot. And it's like 10 days worth or whatever. And I was resolute and like, I'm going to monitor my pain. And the moment that I can gut this out, I will gut this out. And so that happened at like day 4. So I stopped taking everything on like day 4.
But what happened before that? Why did you really stop taking it?
Okay. So I would take one like before bed and then when I wake up, because that's usually when the pain's the worst. And then midday, 2, 3 o'clock or something like that, I started to feel, and I don't know if this is psychosomatic or if this is...
We had a long discussion over this.
Or if this is the actual drugs. Because I had been on some heavy stuff in the hospital, like IV narcotics. And then I had taken a few doses of this stuff at home. I started to feel that old familiar feeling of withdrawal from opiates. Like I know that feeling more than I know any feelings. I've withdrawn more times than I can fucking count. Like I've said that before, like literally 100 plus times I've withdrawn from these things and then relapsed on them over the years. And like, I started to feel that feeling and it made my stomach turn. It made me feel disgusted. It made me feel like, oh my God. Like,
so explain the feeling. Is like, you were clammy.
Yeah.
And
so
shaky,
yeah,
like
if you've never been through it, I hope you never have to go through it. It starts to, it almost feels like you've got something like a cold coming on. You'll be sitting there one moment and then you get like really warm and then you get super sweaty as almost like a fever breaks and you feel really restless. Like your legs feel really restless and your mind is so foggy. And in the back of your mind, it's almost like you feel like you're in pain, like a lot of pain. And I know I was to some degree. But another part of that is almost like psychological pain. This is where I think like, my old friend addiction is like those pathways are still in there. And they're like, it would make you feel better right now is another dose of this drug. And the moment that occurred, I was like, Paige, this is happening right now. Like the moment it happened, I was like, I'm having this moment where I feel like I'm almost like withdrawally. And I'd been on, like I said, some heavy narcotics. So I don't think it was the stuff I took at home. That shit's mild as can be. I think it's probably coming off the crap from the hospital and maybe the small dosages. But once you start to take it away from your body, you're going to have some kind of physical symptoms from it. Even if you've been like through a normal surgery and you've been prescribed something, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
And this is how a lot of people get hooked in the first place. This is how I got hooked in the first place. So, but I was able to identify it this time. I was very aware of it. And that moment, I was like, I don't care how much fucking pain I get in from here on out. I'm not taking another one of those little devils again. I'm not doing it. I'm done. And for, I think that full day, I just felt off, man. I was in a lot of pain. I felt like shit. I took Tylenol because I can't take Advil. I can't take any sort of NSAIDs right now because of bleeding risk. And so I just dealt with Tylenol and just gritted it out. Ice packs, just very, very conscious thought and like almost sort of like a meditation at times. You can close your eyes and just breathe and concentrate on your breath.
Crosswords.
I did so many I did 3 months worth of New York Times mini crosswords in the last 3 days.
That's crazy.
It's so many crosswords. And like, I played Wordle and I played Connections, all the New York Times games. I love playing those. And so like distraction, right? Because I talked to a pain therapist before all this and she's like, never underestimate the power of distraction. And I've also said before, like never underestimate the power of a hot shower. So I took hot showers like in the middle of the day. And did what I could to get through it. But the moment I recognized it, there was an open conversation around it. And I think that's what's different than what's ever been different about this. And if you ever go through this, God forbid you ever have to go through this, I think it's what's important is that you're really honest with yourself and your accountability circle about what's going on and how you're feeling. And the moment that your mind starts to have these thoughts, don't look at it as shame. I'm going to keep this to myself. Like pain shared is pain lessened. That's the reason the community works. That's the reason this show works for people. That's the reason that recovery communities work for people. It's because I can talk about this stuff with other people and they can understand what I'm feeling and you know what I'm going through and you know more than anyone what that's like with me. And so like at that point we were both, and you were even like hesitant. You're like, I don't think you've been on this long enough to cause this, but if you feel this way, then okay. But I don't want you to get in too much pain either. Right. And I was like, I hear you, but also like, fuck that. I'm not going down this road. I'm not doing this shit again. Like I told myself April 13th, 2013, like I will never feel this way again. And I'm like, damn it, I'm not feeling that way again. That's the worst feeling in the world. It took like a full day for the brain fog to clear.
Yeah.
And then I've been fine the last 2 days. I've been in pain. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm in pain. Like I've probably been sitting up for too long.
Yep.
And
you're going to go lay down after this.
Moving around too much, and it's causing some issues, but it's manageable, right? It's manageable. Like I've been taking Tylenol and using ice packs and just resting. Because pain's part of healing, man. I think that's one of the biggest. If we screwed up anywhere with the opioid epidemic in this country, it's that we thought that pain wasn't part of healing. Like we weren't supposed to feel like we were in pain. Like we were just supposed to be absent of it at all times. And like we're the only societies that really thinks that way.
Yeah.
You know, like I met this psychologist from Lithuania at the NADAC conference, and we were talking about. He's like, we just don't have the opioid crisis in our country. They deal with he said they deal with weird psychoactive compounds that are a lot of them synthetic and they don't even know what's in them.
Yeah.
But he goes, opioids aren't even an option because they're only used in hospital settings for surgery, period.
As they should be.
And you don't go home with them at all. Like you just don't. So people don't have access to them outside of a hospital. Like pharmacies don't carry this stuff. So it's just not an option. Maybe for cancer patients, some sort of pain, maybe, but it's just not an option for people. And so I think it was interesting. This last week has been interesting, if anything at all. It's had me reflect on the fact that like I need to double down. Like every time I go through something like this, it's like, okay, I recognize where like the ways that my mind will work against me at times, and like how I'm never completely ever going to be free of this deal. But with a pretty small time commitment and some concentration in certain areas, I can be free of it. You know, and that's a blessing. And I was able to get through like my biggest fear personally in the back of my mind without any crazy happenings. And I'm not worried at this point either, like moving forward. Like, is there anything living in the back of your mind right now that says maybe this is just the calm before the storm? Maybe a few weeks from now something happens or anything like that?
No, I don't have those fears. I mean, that's always going to be a possibility with addiction and recovery and all the things, but I'm not going to let that consume me. Like I said before, I'm prepared to do whatever it takes, you know, to protect myself and my kids if anything happens. But no, I don't think this opened up anything to that. You know, I didn't let the fear consume me, and I won't. I think it's important to just communicate about it.
I know this is going to be hard for you to answer because I'm not even sure if you know how you do this, but do your best to articulate it.
Okay.
I think you did a really good job throughout this entire process of being compassionate for someone that's in pain, someone who's been in recovery, and holding that space, but also holding the space of like, I will not tolerate these old behaviors. I will not tolerate usage or abuse of any drugs. I will not do that. And so how did you balance the two? Like, did you just trust your gut? Did you look for signs? Was it the conversations we were having? Did you ever get suspicious or feel like something's up? Anything?
No, I think it was just the conversations. Like I said, there were things that would trigger my mind to a place beforehand. Like I remember you were commenting in the community right after surgery, and the comments were like they were long and pretty blunt. Like they were great responses, but it took me back into a time whenever you were abusing these substances to where you would send me really long messages.
Oh yeah, man. People get drunk and high and they send the longest text messages and stuff.
Right. So I mean, those were the behavior type things that I would acknowledge and I would see, but I knew that it was because of the surgery. It was because of the things that you were given there. I was able to look at reality and not I didn't overthink everything, I guess. I don't know. It's really hard for me to explain how we got through it in a way that's beneficial for both of us. I think it was just the communication and on both sides. Anytime that I felt something weird, I would say something, or you felt something weird, you would say something. You know, it's just having that open communication and talking with each other.
Yeah.
That brings you that validation and that peace that you need to just deal with things as they come. It makes it easier. Communication is
such a tough one too. Like I've always been shocked that anytime someone reaches out, my first question is like, are y'all not talking? And I think the answer resoundingly is generally no.
Yeah.
People they're just not talking. They just don't really communicate on that level where it's, I'm going to be vulnerable and let you in my head without the fear of judgment in some way, right? Because the relationships are often so fractured that you're scared to say anything honest. period, because you're not sure how it's going to set the other person off because everyone's defensive, because neither of you have been validated in so very long. You know, I think we've done a good job at that. We should pat ourselves in the back for that. We did a good job there.
Yeah, but I know that a lot of people might think that, golly, it sucks that you have to go through all this whenever somebody has surgery when their drug of choice was opiates. Why would you want to put yourself in that situation? You know, why would you deal with that? And I don't look at it as, like I said, I don't look at it as an obstacle or like a poor me thing. It's more of like, this has actually made us fucking stronger because we're able to get through it and deal with it and come out the other end stronger by the way that we communicate it and by going through it. So I don't have that mentality of like, you know, poor me, it sucks that I have to deal with this because I'm married to an addict who, you know, can't deal with his pills or whatever. You know, I don't have that mentality. I'm more of like, this is what we deal with and this is what we have to deal with, and I'm okay with it. Like we challenge ourselves. It's a good thing. Like I've turned it into a good thing, not a bad thing.
Yeah. I think it gives people hope in that sense.
Yeah.
And it should give you hope in that sense, like that you can get through things like this together and that recovery can actually strengthen you. Like I've always said, like give me a couple that's beat this over any couple in the world, because they will have learned to communicate on a level that most people don't their entire lives. And you're kind of forced into it. If you want it to work, you have to communicate on this incredibly intimate level, or you're willing to say whatever it is on your mind and understand that that person's going to hold space for you. And that goes both ways. It goes both ways, right? And I think that from a spouse's standpoint, there is a caveat there, is that someone's got to be doing some kind of work to make you feel safe enough to even receive what they're saying, because you have to trust what they're saying. And trust is built over time, right? It's just not like you can turn a switch on. You can't. And so like we got through it, I think, too, because we've also had a lot of trust established over the last decade where we've been able to talk about this kind of shit, and we've prepped for it, and we knew this day would come eventually. And we know it's coming again too. Like that's something the doctor said. Like when I was under, he came and talked to you guys and he was like, it's rough in his back. Like he's going to have to do this again 5-10 years. He's going to have the big one, like the big fusion surgery with all the screws all the way up my back. And like, we know we're going to have to do it again, but we know that we can do it and get through it.
Right. Because we've gone through this.
Yeah. And anyone that's on my side of this and you've had struggled with opioids, I will say that there is something I learned through this process, because that old familiar feeling of that feels good, I'd like more of that, did happen a few times. It came into my brain. But I think what I automatically told myself was like, okay, I recognize what this is, first of all, right? I'm not in pain. I'm not in danger. This is that part of my mind that wants to feel good, that likes the release of not feeling anything. And so it's weird meeting him again because it's been so long, but it's still there. So I want you to know that, first of all. But second, the absence of pain does not mean euphoria. I think that was something that I was very present and aware of going into this, was that if I get something, right, like the drugs that I took when I got home, like they make you feel like, you know, if you've ever taken over-the-counter sleep medication, you know, like right before you fall asleep, you feel kind of like good. You know what I'm talking about? Is that
I don't know. I just fall asleep.
Right before that, you know what I'm talking about? Like you feel kind of like, oh,
chill.
It just feels good right before you go to sleep. It kind of feels like that. And like there's this part of your brain that's like, that'd be cool if that was about 3 times stronger. What I remind myself is that like the absence of pain does not equal euphoria. Like the absence of pain means the absence of pain. And that's what I've learned by taking all these non-addictive over-the-counter medications over the years, is that that's what pain really should feel like. Not having pain shouldn't just feel like being high, you know, like being high is really not what we're after.
Right.
We're trying to be not in pain. Sometimes the pain's so severe, they'll prescribe narcotics because that's what it does. I think that's what they really do. They just distract you from the fact that you're in pain. They send all these pleasure signals. And it's like the most dangerous way to combat pain in my mind. Like I hope we get to a point where they're just not an option anymore, and they've found some way, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. But it's been interesting around here for the last week or so. And
yes, there was a moment where you didn't want to feel alone, and you were following me like a lost puppy while I was doing things around the house. And I was getting kind of irritated because I'm like, I really hope he's not going to micromanage me or tell me what to do, because right now I'm like in a zone. And I like my alone time a lot. I'm okay with being alone a lot. Of course, I love being with him too. But he's been in my space a lot. And that night I was just like, what are you doing? Why are you following me around? And like, I just don't want to be alone. Do you remember that?
I like people. I like being around people. People give me energy. I'm extroverted, so I like people.
Yeah.
I like talking. And I like just like shooting the shit with people. I remember that.
Yeah, but I was putting stuff in the garage. Like I was taking out things. I think that this goes to also the caregiving thing. Like I've had to be everything, right?
You have done so much this past week. I even asked you the other day, it's like, does this feel familiar to you?
A little bit, yeah. And I've had to give myself a lot of compassion and grace on certain things that aren't really getting done because I'm having to be a single parent, which I'm okay with because I'm your caregiver. Like that's what I need to be doing right now. I need to be taking care of you. I have our kids, take care of myself. Like I'm trying to find that balance. But as long as you're not micromanaging me, I'm okay with that. And you've done a great job with not micromanaging me. You just wanted to be around me.
I just want to be around your energy.
You just wanted to talk. I know. And I felt
lonely back
I felt bad after I said it because I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like I didn't mean anything by it. I was just so afraid that you were going to tell me how to do things. I was like, don't tell me how to do things.
I was like, don't mind me. I just want to be around you. That's all.
But how has it felt not being able to do things? So you got one of those claw things to start to do things that you can do. Oh, it's right there. You already broke.
I got an upgraded one.
He already broke the first one. So he got this other one. And it's really been helpful for him because Matt doesn't like to be taken care of. He's been one of those of like, I'm going to figure things out on my own. And I'm kind of the same way. We don't ask each other for help unless it's absolutely necessary. So you've had to ask for help. How has that been for you?
I don't like it. I feel like I'm putting you out. I feel like I'm taking advantage of you in some way. Like I feel like, I don't know, like I'm getting in the way. And so, but I also know like this is what we agreed upon. Like this is what we meant when we said like we'll take care of each other. I will show up for you every day, even when I'm at my worst and when you're at your worst. Like we will always be there for each other. Like that's what our marriage meant to us. That's what Till the Wheels Fall Off meant for us. You know.
Do you feel like that's subconsciously this has to do with our past too, though, to where I would detach and I'm like, I'm not doing that for you. You do it yourself.
Yeah, like back in the day, like when I was in active addiction, you've talked about this. Like you didn't. I didn't
coddle you.
You didn't coddle me when I was going through withdrawals or I wasn't being present or like it wasn't like contingent like love or anything like that. It was just like I don't tolerate these kinds of behaviors. I don't condone them either. So I know something's up with you. I know that you're going through something, drugs or whatever else, but like I'm not going to make it easy on you.
Right.
I'm not making this shit easy on you. Like you need to know this sucks and that's on you.
Yeah.
So I feel bad asking you for stuff because I remember back in the day, like you would snap. So I feel bad, but I think it's totally different now. Like
it is totally different.
And
yeah.
I try to do more. I try to do as much as I can for myself, but that's also gotten me in trouble before. I've hurt myself right after procedures before because I just try to do too much. And this time I'm taking it easy. I haven't left the house in a week.
Yeah, you haven't gotten in a car. You almost got in a car, and I'm glad you didn't this morning.
I looked at the car seat, and I was like, I ain't climbing up. There's no way.
Yeah, and I go down bumpy roads, so that would suck. But I want you to know that I enjoy, doing things for you. It's not like I'm cold-hearted or anything like that, which a lot of people might have, said that back on certain videos that I've said before. Because like with you were withdrawing or whatever, you were sick or whatever. This is totally different. This is something that you had to go through, and I'm here for you, and I'm going to help you, and I'll be there for you. And if you need me to put the covers on for you, I'll do that. If you need to wake me up in the middle of the night to give you something, I'll do that.
Milk duds. I was too scared to ask for that.
Well, I don't know if I would have gotten them for you.
You've been like, fuck you, man. You woke me up for that.
We know our boundaries. And I think that's important in any relationship is that you know your boundaries of when to take care of somebody and when not to take care of somebody.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that. And I wanted to ask you just your perspective on this is that like you've always been really good about knowing the difference between like caretaking and enabling, right? Like taking care of someone who needs help and then enabling someone by trying to be a peacekeeper or trying to be a people pleaser or trying to just sweep stuff under the rug. And like some people look at their love language and they say like, well, I show love through acts of service. So the more service I do, the more they'll feel my love. And that's, there's all we have a whole episodes
on
about
love languages,
that stuff.
But I know what you mean.
It's backwards. You're right. We'll have a discussion about that.
Yeah, we will.
It's a fun one. But like, what do you say for someone that is like, let's say that they go through this earlier and they really haven't gotten to know themselves or each other that well, and they have been like a people pleaser. Like, do you just have to be careful about why you're doing stuff, or do you still have to kind of let them do things they can do for themselves? I think people struggle with this. There's a lot of listeners that I know that are like all or nothing thinkers, and they're like, well, I used to be a people pleaser. Now I just can't be. That means I'm not doing anything. Like, how do you determine? You've always done it intuitively, but how do you do it?
What they can do for themselves. Like, what can you do for yourself? Like, you have your claw thing. What can you do for yourself with your claw?
Oh man, I can
know
get the dog
these things.
food. I figured
you
that
can
out.
do a lot of things, but what does that do for you? Like, I know that I could help you with certain things, but I also know that you enjoy doing things on your own because it builds up your confidence and your strength, and even your mental strength, because you know that it's building you up, that you know what you can and cannot do.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, but this is how I feel. I feel like when I'm able to do things for myself, it's also letting you know that if I need you to do something, it's that I actually need you to do something, because I can do some things for myself.
Yes.
So I'm not just being a helpless little bastard walking around the house. You know,
Right.
It's like, if I need you, like, I really do need you.
Yes.
I'm not trying to put you out. I respect your time. I respect the fact that you have a million things around here to juggle while I'm down and out. And I try to like pay respect to that by doing as much as I can for myself too.
And that says something too, is that I know that when you're asking me for something, you really need my help.
Yeah.
You really need my help. And I think that that's how I'm able to differentiate those things.
So maybe there's something to that. Maybe there's something to, like, if you are on my side of all this, like I've always said, there's so much we can do to make lives easier on our spouses and partners in recovery, or even if you're in addiction and you're trying to get sober, like let them know that you're serious in some way about whatever it is you're doing, and let them know that you respect their time, their efforts, and the sacrifices that they make. And it sounds simple, but you have no idea how much that means to people, because I think what it means to you is that you don't feel wholly responsible for me. And that means when it comes to my recovery, I've always been like, this is my thing, comes first. You do you, I will do me. I don't care if you drink. I want to be able to be around it, you know, and not affect you in some way. Like, I've always respected your autonomy as a human first.
Exactly.
Like, as an individual first. Like, it was the individual I fell in love with.
Yeah.
It wasn't the the idea of what you could do for me that I fell in love with.
Right.
And so I've always wanted to return that same thing. Like, I don't ever want you to feel like I'm in a relationship with like another child here.
Right.
Like, you fell in love with the individual too, right?
Exactly. Yes. And I want that. And you've always been a natural born leader. And I was drawn to that as well. I was like, okay, he can do things for himself. He doesn't need other people to make sure that he gets his shit done. Like, that's attractive. I don't want to have to take care of you like another child, like you said. I give you your autonomy.
Yeah. So it's been a fun week. It's been emotional highs and lows, and it's been interesting. And it's actually about,
I think we've had a good balance.
It's about what I thought it would be, honestly.
I agree. I don't think it's you said there's like a lot of highs and lows, and I just don't think that. I think that
for me, emotionally, there
emotionally,
was.
yeah.
I was
You've
in
had
tears
some
in an operating room or in a recovery room at one point. And then I've also had to confront the fact that, like, I'm not cured of this shit, and like there's still a part of my brain that wants to feel good and get away. But there's also like, I will say this, like, there's a huge difference in wanting to get high for the feeling and treating pain. And you know the difference when you're going through it. Mm-hmm. Like, someone asked me, like, we had a call earlier this week, and someone asked me, like, what was that like? And I was like, it wasn't how I remembered. Like, it wasn't fun like I remembered. It wasn't like, oh, this is great. It wasn't anything like that. Mm-mm. It was like, I'm not in pain anymore. And in fact, I feel a little crappy that I had to do that. And, but I'm not in pain, and that's a good thing. Yep. And it was about, like, the intentions were completely different, and the intentions in my mind are everything. They really are.
100%.
Like, they matter, but at the same time, they don't. Like, because we've had episodes about that.
And,
right?
and again, it depends.
It's nuanced. It depends. It's not black or white. And
right.
when it comes to, if you find yourself in a situation, or if you're in a relationship with someone who's been an opiate user before, like, this may be a road you have to go down. And I hope if anything, it just sheds some light on the fact that, like, don't let it be the scariest thing in the world for you, because you can get through it.
Yep.
We just did it. We're proof of it. We've gotten through this. Like, my recovery, like my routine hasn't changed. I'm still reading in the mornings. I'm still praying and meditating. I'm still doing all the things I normally did. So it hasn't phased that at all. Like, it's not like I've just been like, it's like been sucked out of me or anything, you know?
Yeah. And I know that you said those that have been addicted to opioids. But this is also for alcoholics as well, because we've seen where people have gone down a road of using meds or pills instead of
You're right.
alcohol.
You're right.
Because it does change the way you feel.
Oh, you make a good point there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know a lot of people that have turned back to an addicted lifestyle because they substituted alcohol with a prescription medication of some kind.
Right.
Like whether that's like Xanax or
right.
Valium or an opioid or Adderall or something like that. Something that makes you feel good, right? Like we will do those things and understand that like I don't think I'm the exception. I don't think anyone I know is the exception to this. I've seen so many people go down this road where it's almost like it's solid, liquid, or gas. It's kind of all the same shit.
Right.
Like once you learn that you can treat depression, or you can treat anxiety, or you can treat being overwhelmed or whatever, you can treat it with a substance that makes you feel different. It all becomes the same thing to me in some ways.
Well, that's why you went to AA and not NA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like just swapped, same thing. Like it's all, you can put them all in a bucket, the same category.
Yeah, basically. But like in AA, you still get people who are like, you got no business being here.
Yeah, I don't really care what they say.
Fuck you, old
Whatever.
man. I don't give a fuck what you say.
I know, I don't care either.
I don't give a shit what you say. I'll be respectful of the other people, right? But I'm not going to fuck you. I do what I want.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I just wanted to bring that up as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope it's helpful. I hope this is insightful. We've always said like we'd be transparent about everything that happens in our lives. I know this is probably something that people thought like, I wonder how that's going to go.
Yeah. And this is more of a story, which I hope, I'm not sure how this episode is going to hit with people, but I enjoyed talking about it. I think that it's an important discussion to have.
I think it's exactly what it is. It's an open discussion about what it's like walking the walk in recovery. Whenever you have something like this come up, which a lot of people will at some point, they'll have this come up.
They will.
You will have to go down this road and just be very honest and transparent with yourself first, and then with your partner or spouse about it. Man, you can't over communicate. I don't think anyone's ever been fired from a job for over communicating. I don't think anyone's ever been like told like stop communicating with me in a relationship. Yeah, you can't over communicate. Like intimacy, it's an infinite, man. You can always reach higher levels of it. You can never have too much of it. And intimacy starts with vulnerable conversations. That's the prerequisite for every bit of it. Trust and vulnerable conversations. I would say.
It's how you communicate.
Yeah, absolutely. Openly, honestly, holding space for one another.
Listening.
Yeah, like I wasn't scared at any point to tell you I'm feeling like I used to feel about this shit. And now I'm concerned and I'm not taking anymore.
Right. I didn't judge you for that.
You didn't judge me.
I didn't judge you for any of this. I didn't judge you for taking.
He hasn't been honest with me.
No,
like, oh, look at him. He's been talking this big talk about how he's not taking shit.
Right.
Now look at him.
Nope.
There was nothing like that.
I didn't do any of that. I was very open-minded about it. I was in it with you. And I think that's what's important.
Yeah. Yeah, we were both in it for the right reasons, communicating with the same goal the entire time. Yeah. And we had that plan beforehand, and we've kept it throughout. Yep. And we didn't smother one another. Even though you don't like me following you around, I'm still going to follow you around.
I know. It's okay.
It's lonely back there. I can only watch so much Ted Lasso before I got to get up.
You need to lay down.
It's just been me and the dog.
You're only supposed to walk like 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And you're not even supposed to be sitting here.
I got another
we
week.
Actually need to get out of this.
Yeah, I got to go lay down. It's been another week. I got another week of this shit. But no more medications in my life for foreseeable future. Just another physical therapy. And I said it in our other episode, but I appreciate everyone that reached out and had kind words for both of us through this healing and everything else, and kind words for Paige as they knew she'd be taking on a lot more of what goes on around here. And it's a lot, man.
It's all good.
It's a lot.
It's all good.
I have a full-time job. She has a full-time job. We've got kids and activities and extracurriculars, and like, it's just a lot. And you've done amazing managing the stress of all this.
You've been great too, babe. I'm
doing what I can with my claw over here.
Yeah. You actually helped with the dishes yesterday with MJ. That was nice.
Yeah. Man.
You were like, I'm just going to do something.
I mean, I
didn't even ask you to do that. You didn't have to. And I was like, you don't have to do this.
As long as it doesn't weigh more than 10 pounds, I can
I don't expect anything from you to do any of that stuff. So don't think, I think it was just something you wanted to do. It's like, let me just
get bored, man.
See what I can do. And also, we won't know how this surgery worked for a few months. Like, we won't know if it's actually.
I will say though, I've taken a shower and I've brushed my teeth and done things I've normally not been able to do. my feet have not gone numb, except for the first or second day.
You haven't been showering or brushed your teeth? That's disgusting.
No, it hasn't gone numb
without
while I've
numb.
been. I don't know what I just said, but what I was trying to say is...
I know what you said. I was just picking
my feet haven't gone numb. The first and second day they did, but they said that would happen because there's still
normal.
a shitload of swelling.
Yeah.
But it's gotten better. Like right now, like I've got pain, but that's from the like incision and the stuff that's been moved around. It's not like the old pain I had before that was horrible.
So you're seeing some relief. That's good.
Yep. Better than nothing, man. Awesome.
Love that.
Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for following along with us.
Thanks for
don't forget to head over to the website and check out everything that we've got to offer you. We're doing our best to be a resource for people that feel like they have no other options. For so long, there's been only one option, and now we're hoping that there will be more than a few. So we're going to be part of that. So thank you for listening. Until next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
And we'll see you.
Bye.